up, everyone? So today's movie I'm discussing on the channel is the latest film from writer-director Mike Flanagan called The Life of Chuck, which is an adaptation of a Stephen King short story. This movie has been on my radar for quite some time, ever since it won the People's Choice Award at TIFF last year. Typically, if a film wins the top prize at TIFF, it's usually a contender for some Oscars. It usually gets the Best Picture nomination. So yeah, I was definitely keen to check it out. Normally, Mike Flanagan is associated with the horror or thriller genre. He's the man behind movies like Oculus and Doctor Sleep, as well as the TV series House on Haunted Hill. So it came as something of a surprise to see him take on such a syrupy project like The Life of Chuck, which it tells the story of an ordinary man called Charles Krantz, aka Chuck, the titular Chuck of the title, in 3 different chapters of his life told in reverse order. The film begins at the end, not just the end of Chuck's story, but the end of the world, really. The whole world is being ravaged by natural disasters, okay? There's earthquakes, floods, wildfires, sinkholes, volcano eruptions, you name it, okay? The world is going kaput. But the majority of the film takes place in this small little town in America called Baldwin in Alabama. And all over this little town there are signs and billboards saying, "Thank you, Chuck, for 39 years of service." And yeah, we're left wondering, who is Chuck? What do these signs mean? And as the film progresses and we move further back in time, we learn more about Chuck, who's played at his eldest by Tom Hiddleston in this film. And I basically interpreted Chuck as an everyman, okay? He's a stand-in for all of us. He's an average man. He's someone we can all see ourselves in. He's an almost middle-aged accountant, and his life has been met with both joy and hardships. He represents us, okay? Humanity. And as the title suggests, this is the life of Chuck, okay? This story is very much about life itself, okay? It's a rumination on life. Despite often feeling like we're living in very cynical times, how do we make the best of it? The film is all at once bleak and optimistic, which is why I kind of struggled a little bit with this film. While there were parts of it that I really liked, the film overall just felt a little bit unsure of itself. It never quite settles anywhere. I didn't know how to feel when this film finished. Was I supposed to feel hopeful, depressed? I think I felt perplexed more than anything, because I wasn't sure what to take away from it. Was this film's message, well, the earth is fucked and we're all gonna die anyway, so we might as well try and enjoy life? Okay. It's a story of unrelenting nihilism, and yet it's wrapped up in this candy-coated layer of sweet sentimentality. The film at times feels like it's at odds with itself, because it has the vibe of a feel-good, life-affirming movie, and yet there are times where it is soberingly sad. So I didn't leave this film feeling good. I left it feeling ambivalent, like neither loving or hating it. And I'm a glass-half-full kind of guy, okay? I love a life-affirming movie. I love a bit of schmaltz, but this just didn't quite do it for me. Dear God, am I becoming more cynical as I get older? I'm not saying that the film is bad. Like, there were parts of it that I really liked. Like, when it hits, it really hits hard emotionally, particularly in the scenes where there's dancing involved. Chuck may be an accountant, but his true passion is dance, something that he acquired when his grandma used to teach him as a boy in her kitchen. And those sequences where Chuck starts dancing are heartwarming and infectious, okay? I was bopping my head and tapping my foot along to the beat with Chuck. And they're dynamically shot by Flanagan, okay? They're full of vibrancy and joy. Like, if Mike Flanagan wanted to, direct a full-blown musical one day, I feel like he'd have the chops to do it. He'd have my blessing. That was when the film was at its most magical, when there was dancing. It kind of perfectly encapsulates that feeling that we all get in life when we say, fuck it, I'm gonna dance like nobody's watching. And those scenes were worth watching, okay? They were delightful. But they are just moments sprinkled throughout the film, and they are few and far between, and they don't make up for the lack of character depth throughout this film, and so many of the character threads in this feel half-baked. The 2 actors who probably get the most to work with in this film are the younger version of Chuck, played by a sprightly Benjamin Pajek. He was great in this, and also his grandfather, who's played by Mark Hammil, who I would say is the heart of this film. But yeah, there are plot threads with Chewitel Ejiofor, Karen Gilan, and Annalise Bass, which either meander about or just kind of fizzle out. And you've also got actors like Matthew Lillard and David Dastmalchian showing up for like one scene. Like, did they owe Mike Flanagan a favor or something? They both give perfectly fine performances, but their appearance in this film does feel quite inconsequential. Shall we talk about Oscars chances? Because when a film wins the People's Choice Award at TIFF, you automatically think, oh, it's getting into Best Picture. But now that I've seen the film and also seen how the hype for this film really does seem to have cooled since it debuted at TIFF last year, I'm not so sold on it being an Oscars player at all, let alone get a nomination for Best Picture. I honestly think any momentum that this film had from its win at TIFF has stalled since then because the rollout has taken so long. If you've got a film that comes out super duper early, like the Fall Film Festival of the prior year, then it really needs to be a film with a lot of passion to, go the distance. And I just don't think there's that kind of passion for The Life of Chuck. It would need a groundswell of support and passion in order to kickstart the hype train for it again. But yeah, Best Picture nomination actually seems quite unlikely to me. Meaning it will be the first TIFF's People's Choice Award winner not to be nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars since Where Do We Go Now back in 2011. The reason is partly because of momentum, but also with TIFF People's Choice Award winners, they usually have something else going for them to get an Oscar nomination, like the screenplay or maybe an acting nomination. I don't see The Life of Chuck getting into Best Adapted Screenplay at the Oscars, and I don't think any of the performances will be nominated. I think the best shot for an acting nomination for this film would probably be Mark Hamill for Best Supporting Actor, because he does have this sort of juicy supporting role, and he gets this lovely, sort of sweet speech about how math is truth, and yeah, it's the type of schmaltzy, small but impactful, performance from an industry veteran that the Academy might go for. Think Judd Hirsch in The Fabelmans and his, passionate speech and his, 8 minutes of screen time. So yeah, which is also another TIFF's People's Choice Award winner, by the way. And I do think it'd be lovely to see Mark Hamill finally get acknowledged by the Academy. This could very well be his best ever shot of getting an Oscar nomination. Doesn't mean I think it's going to happen for him, but I do think there is a pathway for him, maybe if he has enough support. But because the film he's in isn't all that strong, I don't know if it's enough to get him across the finish line, but we'll see in 8-9 months' time. Anyway, shall we ask those 3 questions? Firstly, would I watch it again? No denying that The Life of Chuck certainly has its charming moments, but I'm not sure if there's enough to draw me back for another serving. It was one of those films that I really wanted to love, but when I walked out of it, I just thought it was fine. I think I'd probably just rather watch the dance scenes on YouTube rather than watch the whole film again. But maybe, it's the type of inoffensive film I could see myself putting on again, if I'm visiting my parents, because I know they'll probably have a pleasant enough time watching it. So yeah, I might watch it with my parents again someday, but yeah, I'm not gonna be in a rush to watch it again. Question 2, do I recommend it for you guys? I guess, like I said, it's a perfectly pleasant film and very watchable. And there are some really lovely dance sequences in the film, which I do think are the highlights of this film. It's good, but it never really ascends into anything great. But if you're in the mood for something that's sweet and sentimental, kind of in the same vein as Forrest Gump, then yeah, give The Life of Chuck a go. And third and final question, what score would I give it out of 10? Like I said, I did enjoy parts of this film, the dance sequences and Mark Hamill's performance, but I didn't have that life-affirming experience like other people have had watching this film. I mean, what this film is saying about life and death and optimism and cynicism, it seems like it's deep, but it's really not all that deep. It seems like it was really shooting to be profound, but it just never quite got me there. So I'm gonna say that The Life of Chuck gets a score of 5.5 out of 10. But as always, guys, it is just one bloke's opinion. I would love to hear your thoughts on The Life of Chuck. Are you excited to see this film? Have you seen it? If you have, what do you make of it? Do you think Mark Hamill's got a chance of getting an Oscar nomination? What do you have to say? Let your voice be heard in the comment section down below. If you've enjoyed the vid, help me out with a little thumbs up button for me. If you want more movie, TV, and Oscars-related content, don't forget to click that subscribe button. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. For more things related to movies, TV, the Oscars, and popcorn culture, I'm Lukehearfield, and I'll see you next time.